Hello everybody, it's Wyvern here with another bit of Total War, Warhammer 2, quick match gameplay. This time around we are on a Stallion Tomb, playing as an Empire against Brettonia. As you could probably tell from my voice, Papa Nurgle has not yet decided to leave me alone, and I have not yet received Shalia's blessings, so oh well, casting goes on, what can you do? Regardless, this build that I brought here was actually inspired by a build I saw from Shetland Apache when I did somewhat recently when I did Dav's tourney, and I decided to adjust it a little bit. One of the things I was a little there are a few different builds I would be concerned with. It worked against me though in no small part because I couldn't bring Fey Enchantress due to trying to go with meme lords, so that was a bit of an issue. But the build centers on a steam tank. Now, for the rest of the comp here, it is very heavy on halberdiers, as you can see. We've got 6 units of them set up in a noob box, covering all angles. In the center, we've got Balthazar Gelt. I actually did not bring Lore of Life to back the steam tank. We've got Balthazar Gelt. He's got Final Transmutation as well as Searing Doom to melt blobs, whether it's cavalry blobs with Final Transmutation or infantry blobs with Searing Doom. Regardless, you want it for Brettonians. We've got Arcane Conduit as well as Staff of Valance for all those winds of magic, and then Double Witch Hunter both with Accusation. And these guys also very powerful against Brettonia. Their magic damage bypasses physical resist. Accusation can take off a lot of models, and if your opponent goes with the Green Knight, this means I have a lot of magic damage to take him down. We also do have a unit of Silver Bullets here in the center, and then some zoning spears, some spears with shields back there, unshielded spears back here in the center. A steam tank, like we mentioned before, a bit of an anchor unit with AP ranged, able to snipe my opponent's cavalry down. And if push comes to shove, it can lock units down in place for quite a while and tear out enemy infantry. Finally, 2 mortars. Chevron up a whole bunch to veteran C5. Mortars are one of the units that, in my opinion, gets the biggest benefit by far from veterancy in this game. To be quite honest, I'm not sure there's any unit that gets more of a benefit. Mortars go from being incredibly inaccurate, complete RNG hogs that can't hit worth a damn a lot of the time, to being a unit that can nail enemies with pinpoint accuracy when they get given some chevrons. And that was really what I was hoping for here, to break up enemy archer formations, to break up enemy infantry. We brought some mortars. Now for my opponent, very infantry heavy build. He's got double pox arrows in the back. He does have some foot squires. Most of his army is just men-at-arms, peasants, and then a Grail Relic to keep them all in line. Fey Enchantress is up here with Regrowth, Dwellers Below, and Earthblood, as well as the Comet of Chalice of Potions, not the Comet of Casandora. But she's got Mist, she's got Arcane Conduit, and of course Favor of the Fey. On either flank, we do have some Grail Knights. On one flank there with the Green Knight, on the other flank it's Grail Knights with a Paladin. So pretty potent cavalry contingent. But we do have that steam tank already chipping away at them. These guys have already lost 9 models. Personally, I don't think it's good to go into Lance formation when you're trying to push up, because it opens you up to getting nailed by cannonballs from a steam tank, for example. My opponent gets a little cheeky here with the Green Knight, immediately gets nailed by Accusation. The Green Knight, a tankier ethereal unit, if there ever was one, but nonetheless, it's going to hurt him, and he's going to be forced to back off. And of course, honestly, if the Green Knight does push in, he's just going to get pounded. There's so much damage output I could bring on him. I've got double Accusation, I've got Final Transmutation, and then I've got the Witch Hunters who both do magic damage with their pistols. So my opponent here, desperately trying to shut down my mortar. He's going to summon up the Dwellers Below. Bit of a waste of winds of magic, in my opinion. It just doesn't really deliver. But it does take down some of these Silver Bullets, which is a huge mistake on my part. I should just pull them out. Like, this is just pure laziness on my part, basically. Regardless, Silver Bullets are going to start unloading on the Foot Squires, and you can see the archers in full retreat, already forced off by the mortar play. Foot Squires taking quite a pounding, just not able to close the gap against the Silver Bullets. And over here, the Witch Hunter, after pushing out a little bit to try to shoot at these Grail Knights and try to shoot at the Green Knight, is going to pull back in. My opponent does get a nice Chalice of Potions, which I do try to avoid, I do believe, but way too late, and we are going to get nailed by a Comet, and it's going to take off another 16 models there, so some brutal stuff for handguns. That said, my opponent here is actually going to sneak his Knights through this gap in my Halberdiers. I completely underestimated his ability to do that. Now, fortunately, the steam tank is on station. There's Witch Hunters who immediately are going to start shooting at these guys, and the Grail Knights are not going to last very long. You can see they're being bogged down. Favor of the Fey hits them, but they don't really need Favor of the Fey. They need to be able to stay alive. They need heals, and my opponent's already invested so much magic into nuking me, and he's used Earthblood on this blob here. So Definitely a bit of a rough spot. You can see Barfazar in there popping all his abilities, melting this blob of Grail Knights. This other blob has gotten into my silver bullets. They're getting hit by an accusation. And that said, the Halberdiers, you can see, holding their own, just taking these Knights down. And in comes the final transmutation. This is going to be some brutal stuff. It's going to tear these guys to shreds, and we can see just how badly these Grail Knights are going to suffer. The Men-at-Arms also now having a good time of it. Although Poxers are coming back online, they're being focused on their silver bullets. And, yeah, you can see the Grail Knights completely snap. And so at this point, my opponent's cavalry contingent has completely fallen apart. You can see these Grail Knights down to 9 models, 8, not even able to fight their way out. The Grail Knights over here, I think, completely died. They might have died to men. Oh no, they shattered on 3 models. The Silver Bullet's still alive and kicking with 32 models. Spearmen bogging down the Paladin. Mortar crew actually came back, so we're going to be able to bring our mortars back online. And at this point, my opponent's going to GG out of the game. So, a bit of a brutal strat from Empire. There's not much else, no other way to put it, really. I didn't bring Earthblood, or Lore of Life, so healing the steam tank was not an option, but I figured that my opponent wouldn't have the ability to really kill the steam tank with whatever he brought. Hippogriffs are pretty rare, and even if my opponent did bring a bunch of Hippogriffs, I had plenty of solutions. I had Balthazar, I had the Witch Hunters, I had Silver Bullets, and I had some Halberds to support, so I had a lot of tools to support my support a steam tank against AP and units. And if my opponent went super heavy on Cav, which he didn't here, I had all these Halberds to protect me. And Halberds will do okay against infantry. They're not pushovers. For example, even compared to Eternal Guard, Halberds will do a lot better against, say, Empire Swordsmen or units like that in a straight-up fight. Now, it's a bit of a gimmicky build. It's certainly not necessarily the most reliable. It's very infantry-heavy. If my opponent had gone archer-heavy, this could have been a disaster, because he would have just been able to mow through my infantry line. Perhaps. Then again, the mortars did a great work, 56 and 19 kills, and they didn't even stay online the whole game, really. So some good stuff from them. Balthazar, of course, getting huge kill counts there with the final transmutation, and the Witch Hunters raking in a lot of kills against high-value targets like Grail Knights. So doing some good work, doing the Sigmar's work there. All in all, I do think that if you're looking for a fun, relatively competitive build against Brettonia, this is the way to go. As far as my opponent's build goes, not terrible. Not enough. The big problem here is that you're relying on Grail Knights almost entirely for your anti-large force. If your opponent brings Faith Demis, you're going to be in trouble. And if your opponent goes heavy on Cav, this could become a disaster because you lose the Cav game, and then your infantry is not going to be able to hold up because they're Brettonian infantry. Your opponent could go pretty cheap on infantry. They could bring hell. They could bring like 3 great swords. Hold down the front line, smash your men-at-arms, smash this whole blob of infantry, and still be cost efficient at the same time, I think, because what is it? It's like 300 for the peasants, 900. You could be probably relatively cost efficient and still take on these Grail Knights. And the only problem here would be the Green Knight, really, for Cav build. But the Green Knight, as you saw, got just wiped here. But Empire does have magic options as well, so Green Knight isn't necessarily the best idea, because if your opponent brings Hammer of Witches, Silver Bullets, Lore of Fire, Lore of Shadows, they just have so many tools, and of course, so many casters. You've got accusations from Witch Hunters, you've got Balthazar Gelt with his final transmutation, you've got Volkmar. There's so many magic options for Empire. So it's really rough stuff. Regardless, good game to my opponent here, Tim the Panda. I do apologize for the bit of a gimmicky build, but hey, it's all in good fun. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you found it hopefully a bit informative or fun to watch. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below to keep up with additional content. I do apologize that my voice sounds like death, but hopefully, you know, the plague and pestilence will go away soon, and I'll be back to my usual self. As usual, guys, I do thank you all for watching. If you have any comments, any criticism, be sure to leave them down below. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.